This is what I was given as a revelation from above. Whether you like it or not, it will happen. And God will manifest this vision in the next thousands and thousands of years and forever. There is a lot of errors of World War III prophecies by Mother Shimpton, Nostradamus, Arabic Adrian Sinam, which describe that Armageddon is World War III. That is not correct because in Ezekiel 38 there is no mention of Western powers. We know today, like America, Australia, Belgium, Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Holland, and New Zealand, and other European countries. Adrian Sinam described Antichrist as a British. It is not correct. Nostradamus described Antichrist as a Russian. It is not correct because Christianity is a religion, and Arabs as well describe Antichrist as an Arab from Middle East. It is not correct, as well as other things that they said. It is not correct. What I know is that World War III is gonna happen very soon in the future. Because of this coronavirus that's happening, it will lead us to World War III. It will happen very, very soon. I don't know when, but I think it's gonna be very soon because this thing is gonna actually destroy the economy, and after destroying the economy, it will lead to many other things happening, such as civil wars in Europe, such as civil wars in America, such as also civil wars in certain parts of Africa, like South Africa, for example, and then other places. What will happen is that next year there is something I want to talk about before I speak how World War III will start. It will start in Europe. It's like an evil spirit that will spread from Europe to Middle East to Asia, to places such as Russia, America. That will actually cause World War III to happen. That thing will happen in a way whereby people will not be expecting it to happen. What will happen is that things will continue to be as if they are not predictable. There's a lot of confusion that will happen. Americans' election, I don't want to talk about them because what I know is that they will rise. There will be a rise up of a female power thing whereby a woman will rule America in the future. But this will start off as if a woman is a vice president. Look at it. The Democrats are having a vice president who's a woman. And I understand Trump wants to move to that direction and choose a woman to be a vice president. I don't know where will that lead to. What I know is that World War III will happen in a time whereby nobody will know what's happening. US election, I don't know whether Biden will win, whether Trump will win. Anyone who wins World War III will happen. What will happen is that there will come a time whereby there will be confusion that happen, where Iran will be wanting to acquire some atomic power. They will actually do a deal with China to get it. What they will do is that they'll buy certain things. When they buy certain things, their ship will be sunk. When it's sunk, you will see it where in the news. You'll be seeing it in CNN, in BBC, in many news. It will come in many news channels. And when that comes, it will, at first it will be hidden that such a thing happened. When it's hidden, you'll see it in the news because it will happen somewhere in the Indian Ocean. That's where it will happen, along near India. Near India, that's where this thing will happen. And then it will trigger World War III. It will start off whereby Iran will attack Israel. And when it attacks Israel, Israel will retaliate by what? Attacking what? Iran. And then the violence will spread from there to Europe, and then to where? Europe. And then what will happen is that there will be a standoff between Russia and NATO. When there is a standoff between Russia and NATO, it will lead to an attack in America, New York City. That's where an attack will happen, which will kill a lot of people. I don't know how many people, but it's going to be somewhere around 200 to 300,000 people will die. And then also Britain, there shall be so many things that will happen. And then during that time there will be also be a lot of bad things that will happen. The pound, the euro, the US dollar will all collapse to an extent that oil price will go up, whereby the current Jews will be attacked. They will be attacked by people in Europe, white people in Europe, and also white people in America, and most of them will die. And then what will happen is that America will also experience attack inside America. By 2022, 2023, World War will be happening. 2024, World War will be happening. America will be not be having a president. While this America will be not be having a president, there shall actually be something to do with a certain leader. I don't know who is that, but what will happen is that they will rise a woman around 2025 after China is invaded, after Muslims have invaded. There will also come the time for Russia to invade. When Russia invades, it will destroy West Coast and East Coast, and then that's where this woman will rise up, Hillary Rodney Clinton, as a queen. She will rule 3 countries. She will rule fallen United States, Canada, Mexico. They will combine and become American Federation. While this is happening, this woman will rule until 2030 something as a leader, and then they will rise another woman who will be a queen. At first it will be Hillary, and then second it will be Michelle Obama. This will happen, and then while this is happening, World War III will last for 20 something years. When it lasts for 20 something years, there will come a time when Germany will take over as a leader of Europe, after the defeat of China and the Arabic empires, because supernatural powers will be used to fight World War III. But when that happens, is the West will think that they are controlling the world. Germany will take over and create what is called Republic of Europe, which will take over from European Union. European Union will dissolve, and United Nations is gonna dissolve. In its place there will be League of Nations that will be ruled by Germany. Germany will there will be no more president, no more prime minister. What will happen is that kings and queens will rule again. It will be a new era. And then what will happen is that when Germany takes over, they are gonna rule the world for a short time. I don't know for how many years, because they will fall when China, Japan rises up. They will take over the world, China, Japan, because we have heard Bavanga talking about the rise of communism. Communism will take over, and then they will combine with Israel, because that alliance will have Japan, China, and Israel. These three will rule together, and they will dominate the world with money. They will dominate the world with technology. And what will happen is that there shall actually be something happening in Mars to do with China, Japan. They will be the first nation, I think, to go on Mars. I think so. And then what will happen is that there shall be strange things that will happen in the sea, whereby they will create planes that will be moving underwater and in the sea, and then they'll be also creating rods that will be made of iron, which will be made of of iron, whereby they won't be using tar again. What will happen is that empire is gonna dominate the world a long time, and have its own Israel created in the Middle East, because that empire is gonna actually fall when South America takes over under the leadership of Brazil. South America is gonna rebel. When you look at the predictions of Papa Vanga, he talk about a colony in Mars which will rebel against that empire, China, Japan. That empire is South America, because South America will rebel, and then it will lead to a confrontation, a nuclear confrontation with China, Japan. But that empire, China, is gonna fall, because after China has become an international language with Japan for a long time, there will come South America. South America will dominate, and nuclear bombs are gonna be banned until the time of the Russian Empire. And then South America will dominate and become, and they have Brazil having their own international language. And then after they dominate the world, they will actually fall, because after a long time they have ruled, they will come Africa. Africa will have four empires which will rule for 500 years. These empires are Yoruba and Hausa. They will be the first one. After Yoruba, Hausa, they will come the empire of Zulu, because each of these empires will be controlling Israel. They'll be becoming international language. After one rises, another will fall. When the Zulus take over, they will create their own empire, where they will dominate the world. And then after they dominate the world, they will fall, because there will come the empire of Tswana. When the empire of Tswana dominate, they will become international language, because when they dominate, they will create their own Israel, and then they will fall, because they will come this thing that Ghana, Jamaicans are waiting for. In the future, it will happen when we are dead, when we are no longer on planet Earth. It will be other generations that will be living. All this thing I'm talking about is not recorded in the Bible. Don't open the Bible. It's just dead scrolls that were deleted in the Bible. So what will happen that after that empire, there will come the empire of Ghana, Afro-Caribbean, and then what we call the empire of, I'll mention this one by name, because that one is for the Ephraimites that will control Ethiopia. It will become a large empire. It will have a Ghanaian language spoken. I don't know what it is. It is called the empire of Haile Selassie. It will dominate the world for I don't know for how long. And then after that empire goes, there will be what is called the Scandinavian Empire, and then there will be what is called Eastern European Empire, and then European Empire, and then after there will come the rise of Russia. That's where I will enter into the Bible, because all these empires will come and they will go. They will become international languages, and then they will go, because they will control the economy when they are ruling. And then after they will come what? Russia. Remember, Russia is written as a bay in Daniel chapter 7, verse 3. All is different from what was spoken in Daniel chapter 2, because Daniel chapter 2 empires are what are described as metal, not as animals. Those ones that are described as animal, is one of them was eagle. The eagle will be gone. We know it's America. What will be happening now is they will rise up the Russian one. Because the Russian one will rise up a long time after the eagle is gone. It will take thousands and thousands and thousands years for the Russian beard to rule. Because when they rule, they will actually dominate, I think, for 200 something years, and then they will destroy the world. If you read, I think it's Zephaniah. Let me check. Zephaniah 1. There is a war that is described there that is talking about Russia. That war is about Russia, how they will destroy the world. They would fight a nuclear war for 8 years, which will destroy 50% of mankind. It will be worse than this World War III, which Nostradamus is talking about. The World War III will not be bloodier than the one I'm talking about. And then after that, there will come a time whereby they will rule the leopard, and then we're going to enter into the time of churches of Asia, which will be ruled by India. Daniel chapter 7, verse 4-5 there about talks about the leopard, which is India. India will dominate and become what? International language. But I don't know whether they will please God. I call them the tribe of Benjamin, and I know that Chinese as well at some of them are Benjamin, and also Japan are Benjamin. But this one will be for what? For India. India will take over, and then they will dominate. When they dominate, they'll become international language, but they are not going to please God. And then God will what? Bring a new empire called Turkey, which was actually the sick man of Europe. They will become a remnant of the world, whereby they will actually rule the world for a long time, for more than 8,000 years. They will come an Arabic Jew who will be from Turkey. What will happen is that Arabic Jew will teach people how to worship God. He will actually recreate the world and make it new. Israel will be expanded to be more than the size of Middle East. You recreate Israel that is made up of all races. Because remember that some tribes of Israel, when they were scattered, some of them went away to China, Japan. Some of them went away to India. Some of them went away to to Europe. Europe is known as another tribe. I think it's 10. And then we have got Benjamin Joseph that went to Asia, which is China, India, and etc. etc. And then we have got what? Some went to Russia, we know it's 10. And then there are some that are living in the Arabic land. And then some went to Africa. All those tribes, they will be brought together. In Africa, we know we've got 3.5 tribes. I'm not going to mention what are they, because I don't have time. Those tribes are black people that are in Africa. 3.5 tribes of black people in Africa. If you want to know, please ask me. I'll tell you, but I'm not gonna mention it on internet for several reasons. And then after that, other empires such as Spain will be recreated, and Spain will become a large block, more than the size of Europe. And then Syria will expand and become large. Africa will also be made to be large, but I don't know what will happen. And then a new race will be created. What will happen is that when that messenger recreate, you'll be having some supernatural powers to recreate the world. When he recreate, he's gonna say, let this be, let this be. It's gonna be a strange man. You'll be powerful more than Joshua, I think. You'll be an Arabic Jew who will be more powerful than Joshua. What will happen is that you'll be commanding, and say, let there be, and it will happen. You'll be one of the strangest person to live on planet Earth, and it's gonna recreate Israel, and a lot of people will be surprised. Oh, this is amazing. Israel he will recreate will actually rule, will actually be under Turkey Empire, because Turkey, the sick man of Europe, shall become the remedy of the world. And then Syria, watch out for Syria in the future, because the new race will be given one tribe in Israel. It will be taken from Arabic Empire and be given to the new race, because God wants every race to have what? To have Jews. Because it's his plan, it's his plan, it's his plan, it's his plan. And then after, what will happen after the messenger is gone a long time, because you'll be teaching people how to worship God, and will be closing churches that are evil that people will be opening. If you read Revelation 2, it's the men who will be speaking, who will be used by God to speak. Whenever there is evil, you'll be telling people to worship God. When people are not worshiping God, you'll be closing their what? Their religious practice, and also be closing their churches. You'll be making people to worship God, because from the time of from the time of Babylon until the time of Russia, if I count all those empires, it is described as dark age. So now God will be having his time of 8,000 years, whereby people will be worshipping him, and people will be living longer than what they are now. They will be lasting some for 1,000 years. It will be the best time to live on planet Earth, because God will be having good humanity living on planet Earth, and that's why God is gonna have people worshipping him. And then after this is gone, there will come the new race ruling, and then after its rules, there will come the Arabic Empire, and Israel will be scattered again. I don't know how long the Arabic Empire will last, because it's gonna be a long time. And then Egypt, if you turn to Daniel 11, they will actually, it has got something to do with Egypt and Arabs. So that empire will come back. I don't know how it will be. And then that empire, at a later stage, you find it will be opposed by Syria. Syria is going to be a large empire, and that's where they will dominate. All these empires will be actually dominating and becoming international language. Also, they will dominate economically, militarily, and then after, Syria, when it's destroyed, I'm not talking about the current Syria. The Syria I'm talking about will be a Syria that will dominate the world, and then it will be overtaken by large, gigantic empire, Spain, which will be the most powerful empire. We call it Tarshish. I'll be making video to show people that Spain is Tarshish, not Britain. British Empire will be gone a long time. You don't hear me talking about the British Empire anymore. It will be used as a reference that there was once that empire, but the one I'm talking about is Spain. The Spanish Empire, they are going to be the most powerful military empire that will have alliances with Saudi Arabia We call it merchants of Dedan, and also merchants of Sheba and Dedan, which is Saudi Arabia and Yemen. They shall have an alliance to do with that, and they will become the most powerful empire. That's where Armageddon will happen, and that's where Israel will be restored of all race. That will have white Jews, black Jews, Chinese Jews, look-alike, Arabic Jews, and also the new race will also be there. Thank you very much. I just wish the 14-year-old Arabic, that 14-year-old white Jew to put his video as well to support this one, because you saw the same revelation. You have got your mother waiting in the library. Please support this video. Put your revelation you were given. It's similar to mine. Please put your revelation. Don't be afraid. I'm urging the 14-year-old white Jewish boy. Put your revelation. You have it. You have got your mother working at Salford Library. Put it. Amen.